And okay, wow. I think I need to adjust down this light because hello everyone, we're live, but I'm looking at the feed and we kind of washed out
Yeah.
a little bit. It's because I put an extra light in here, and I think we have too much of a good thing going on. So let's adjust this down.
Yeah. Too much of one thing from one direction.
Okay. Well, you know what? I guess we just need to turn that one off. Because I think that's good. You can see everything. So, all right. But uh howdy everybody. Yeah, I do have it on slow mode right now, but it's only I was able to I did figure out how to go in and adjust it, and I dropped it to 15 seconds. So I think most of us here, 15 seconds, that's plenty of time. It's just if I have any trolls come in, because you never know. And I kind of gave into the temptation to respond to a particular comment. I kind of felt like it was a point that needed to be made, but uh we'll just
There were so many expletives.
oh no.
I didn't know there were that many expletives in existence, and I thought I created a few.
No, not really. But I mean, but I do have to say, the other comments and things that I've gotten the feedback on our latest video has been really great, and I do appreciate that. And if you haven't seen the latest episode of the how-to guide, then be sure to check that out later. But here we are. It is the day after Thanksgiving here in the United States, and we stayed in because that's the safer thing to do on the day after Thanksgiving. I worked in retail hell, which is Black Friday, at a Toys R Us 25 years ago. That's enough for anybody. So, I'd rather be here with you guys. So, glad to have you all, and I hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, I noticed that it's for some people it's showing different usernames, but that's sorry. And yeah, Katie's just saying just got home from the hospital. Back pain is bad. Oh goodness. It's funny. We had a night like that on New Year's Eve 2001 going into 2002.
Yeah, I spent that in the emergency room.
Yeah, for back pain that sent your blood pressure unusually high.
Through the roof.
Yeah. That's a weird way to spend New Year's Eve.
Yeah. I'm sitting there thinking I had a heart attack, and the guy's going, "No, trust me, you have it."
Yeah, it's just you were having
you're
severe,
in a lot of pain.
Yeah, severe back spasms. So yeah, so we can appreciate how tough that can be. So yeah, some folks are, there's always folks that are struggling with issues, and if it's kind of like if it's not your turn today, it will be another time. So that's why we have to be here for each other, because you're building good karma for yourself when you support other people. So
the human condition.
Yes. And I noticed Indiana's really quiet right now. She had a big old time earlier today because I brought the potted plants in. It's actually getting cold, and so I have the pepper plants in there. And duckies love nothing more than to play in the dirt. And if there's a water dish next to them, they can play in water and dirt and water and dirt. And what does that make? Mud. Which I like to call duck coffee. Because for them it kind of is. And I've had to wipe down the living room floor several times today. And so finally I said, okay, I need to contain the mess. Sweetie, I'm putting you in the bathroom. So she's in there. I think she's taking a nap now. So, but
you should probably wake up whenever you start that ritual and shaking like this room.
Maybe, but and she'll want to have dinner with us. But yeah, she has had a big old time. And she had a good time yesterday because everybody got to say hello to her and even give her a few treats. So yeah, she's been having a good weekend. So I hope everyone else is going to as well. We're honoring a going forth of Shu. And hopefully for this time next year, I'll be able to have a nice wall hanging because I have something that I've been designing to kind of build on the idea of the illustrations that they do where you have Shu holding aloft Newt and then Geb is at their feet. And, you have the sunrise and the sunset. I'm working on that. But until then, we have our candle for Shu. And so I'm also gonna light that. And also, yesterday was the birth of Antinous, which in Roman times was honored as a holiday. So
I did not notice that.
So to represent that, we're gonna light our little pink lotus votive. So he has been kind of adopted in the modern LGBTQ community as a patron because that was Hadrian's lover who drowned in the Nile. And so it was Hadrian that established his birthday as a feast day, and had a town built for him that basically raised an existing town. They took all the stone from that and built something new. So it's there are pluses and minuses to this, but we can at least say, okay, hey, he's part of the pagan scene now, and so we want to make sure we include it. So that's what we're doing. So oh, that's neat. So they asked if I wanted any music during the MRI, and I requested Egyptian music. That's pretty cool. That's interesting that they played music during.
Why, you can't hear shit in it.
Oh well, yeah. Darren's had an experience with an MRI, and you said that it sounded like it felt like what it must be to be in a microwave or something.
It's like this is what happens when a microwave and an Atari screw. These are the noises that you would hear.
And you have to say things like that when I'm taking a drink of water.
It's the most aggravating, claustrophobic inducing thing I've ever done.
And I'm going to take the high road and not make any jokes about MRIs and public figures. So but if you need your dose of news that counts as tabloids, there's plenty of that to be had out there. So
I'm just curious. I've been staring at it for this whole time. What's that chest-shaped offering?
Oh, okay. Tell you what, I'll go ahead and lift that up with the hand that doesn't have, timbrels on it. This is a pack of German gingerbread cookies.
Yeah.
Some Libkuchen. And this is from Wickline, but they're like I got them from World Market. Every year around getting close to Thanksgiving, when they start putting out all the Christmas stuff, they have the German gingerbread cookies because those are a seasonal favorite, and
they're awesome.
Yeah. The story that I can tell about it is my maternal uncle was stationed at an Air Force base in Germany in the 80s. Zweibrücken, I think was the name of it. But, there's a lot of Air Force bases in Germany. At that time, it was West Germany because this was, the last decade of the Cold War. And so, reasons. But he would send gifts from Germany to my mother and our family. He sent her a beautiful German cuckoo clock one year, and I thought it was so awesome. I wanted one, so he actually sent one to me the next year, and I wish I still had it. But I left it at my parents' house because Darren couldn't stand hearing the tick 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 of a cuckoo clock, and yeah. But he also sent one year a chest of German gingerbread cookies, and I absolutely loved them. And it was a very long time before I was able to get a hold of them. But let's hear it for world market cultural appropriation. On a big box scale, but the German gingerbread cookies are, they're a little expensive, but they're worth it. So if you get a chance to go and get some, they have them with chocolate and apple and all sorts of stuff. But this is appropriate, I think, because it's bread, it's something festive, and there's a bit of rarity to it. So we're offering something very special. And so that the Yamane was wondering what the chest shape thing. They're still in the shrink wrap, but that's what's on the offering plate. So. Okay, so I just got back from seeing a rental family of my grandmother. Got to share my love of Japan with her. Okay, is that something in theaters right now? Because I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to what's in the movies lately, but I'm glad that you're able to share, something that was an interest of yours, with family, because sometimes that can be challenging to say the least. But yeah, so that's the thing on the Lebkuchen. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And I know we have folks that tune in from Germany, and I would welcome their input, and if any of them ever offer Lebkuchen in their own personal shrines, that would be a fun thing to know about.
And you can always send us more.
Send us more.
I love them too.
Yeah. Well, I had to tell Darren, look, I'm not holding out on you. I'm just putting some on the offering plate, okay? Because it's strange. I wouldn't say a barter economy, but it's very stringent. Share and share alike. Yeah. So. All right. These cool waters are upon my hands, and they purify me. Stefnut purifies me. Hail unto you, O Unachuru. We come unto you without falsehood and without evil. Our purity is upon our hands. Our purity is within our hearts. Who have cast out all evil pertains to us. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure.
I ran hot water on purpose.
Yeah.
How did it do that?
Wait, you ran? Oh wait, so you went and
I went to the sink and ran hot water on purpose.
How long ago did you do that?
About 25 minutes.
I don't know if it was before or after I did that. I'm not sure.
Right?
Yeah, it's a little brisk.
Yeah.
Welcome to a special edition of the Cool Waters.
Tonight's episode brought to you by Kemetic. He cools his brothers. That's one of the sons of Horus.
I know that. You know how I know that?
Hmm.
I live with you. That's how I know that.
Anyway. Oh. All right. Come in peace, bright eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra and all of their abodes, till none remain. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
The eye of Horus comes to the four corners of the world, to everyone who is tuning in with us now and has been with us in the past and will be joining us in the future. This eye of Horus comes, and we are all purified with it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
So we'll light our candle. First over here. Catch. Here we go. And to know us, and we light candle for Shu, son of Ra. And he's going forth. There we go. And for Sekhmet, that she may bring peace and healing and strength and recovery to all those who need it. And to Mahes, that he may keep safe all those who are in the path of inclement weather. You arise in the Akhet as Capri, O Ra, spreading your light upon the earth. You sit in peace in the mountains of Manu as a tomb, bringing your light to Duat. Shine upon earth as you do in heaven and Duat. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who came from Nun at the first time, for such is your uniqueness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Hu at your left side, for such are the words you commanded. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who placed Sia at your right side, for such is your great wisdom. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, whose Hika goes before you, for such is your ability. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, who rules with Ma'at upon your brow, for such is your righteousness. Hail and praise unto you, O Ra, and hail and praise unto you, O Shu, and all of you Nacharu, you lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out his Fet. May you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us and your strength being within us. It's always a little weird when I get a notification in the middle of that. Need to find a way to turn some of those things down, but there we go. Oh, okay.
They're just letting you know that Kemetic services have begun.
Actually, no, it was for Substack. And I'll have to tell you guys more about that later.
Hmm.
So take these, your cool waters that are the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. Oh, Yunachuru, these cool waters are the eye of Horus, that your hearts may be refreshed. Milk, milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We give you this milk from the great flood, O Yunachuru. You may be purified with it. We give you incense. Give you incense great of purity. This incense is the eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you and cleanses you. It adorns you and takes its place upon your hands. O Yunachuru, we give to you this eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, O Yunachuru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, Ra, or Shu, O Yunachuru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. Pure, pure is Ra Horketi within his house. Pure, pure is Shu, Lord of Upper Menset, within his house. Pure are the cause of all of these gods, this good myrrh that is given. Jehuti proclaims it. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance, thousands of offerings, all things good and pure, for Ra Horketi, for Shu, in every place that their immortal cause dwell. Come to your body, O Ra Horketi. Come to your body, O Shu. Come to your bodies, O Yunachuru, and come to your invocation. Come unto us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Bring your power, your hika, your honor, and your ba to these, your offerings, and partake of them. Come, O people, raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift the offerings before Ra and before Shu. All life comes from them. All health comes from them. All stability comes from them. And all good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. O Ra Horketi, and your son, the Osiranisu Nevkeperura. Your foes retreat from you, and Horus turns himself to his eye. Turn yourselves to these, your offerings, and receive them from our hands. And from the table of the gods to the table of the blessed dead, we light this candle, that it may be the eye of Horus that lights their way into Lot. And we pour these cool waters from the table of Osiris, that their hearts may be refreshed. Horecha henket kakao after snatcher mahai, kutniba nafrat waberan kan naturim, cow in akunibu, mahanibu hiran natural. Voice offering, bread and beer, 1,000 of beef and fowl, incense, oils, and all good and pure things on which a god lives, for the cause of all of these blessed dead, all true of voice before the great God. And now we come unto you, O Ra, as Jehuti comes, our hands joined under Ma'at. Ma'at has come to be with you in every place where you are. An offering of Ma'at is made unto you, that your heart may be pleased and your Ka shall live. Truly, your Ennead has Ma'at, for they know you live in her. The Ennead says unto you, your word is law, eternally. The Svet is cast out by your word. Rejoicing is yours every day. Ma'at has taken her place in your shrine. May we always act with gentility and compassion, for such is the first Ma'at. May we always offer charity and hospitality, for such is the second Ma'at. May we always respect consent and fidelity, for such is the third Ma'at. May we always avoid violence and promote wellness, for such is the fourth Ma'at. May we always speak words of truth, for such is the fifth Ma'at. May we always promote the public good, for such is the sixth Ma'at. May we always act humbly and with temperance, for such is the seventh Ma'at. May we always honor our gods and respect others, for such is the eighth Ma'at. May we uphold Ma'at like Jehuti, that we may witness Ra's perfection every day. Now, Shu has his going forth right now, but later on in what would be the second half of December on our calendar would be it's the month of Pan Amenhotep on the later calendar, and that became Fanamat in or something like that in Coptic. But that was a month where you had in ancient times the lifting the sky, which was something that honored Shu. It recalls his work at the end of the creation cycle. You know, when you have Ra established, you know, in the heavens, and you know, Nut and Geber separated, you know, so that it's sort of like everything in the cosmos is fixed in its place. And actually, the festival, the celestial cow, which you know is a much bigger thing in other Kemetic traditions, is related to that. It just has to do with the, you know, you had the eye of Ra terrorize humanity in order to punish the wicked, and nearly wipe them out. But then after that, that the resolution of that story is when the celestial cow, representing, you know, the star-spangled sky, was establishes the vault of the heavens, for Ra to sail through, and Shu is an important part of that. So it's all connected. That it's all an important theme, and we'll be getting to that a little bit closer to Christmas. So for now, we're focusing on Shu and his role as the son of the sun god, and the place that he has in the scheme of things. So what we read is it's originally from the coffin text, and it's a series of them that has been given the name of the Litany of Shu. That's not what it was called, originally, but it's all extending on that particular theme. So. I am he who foretells Ra when he ascends from the Akhet. I put the fear of him into whomever seeks out his name. I am the one among the Heh gods who hears their words. I dispatch the word of the self-created to the multitudes. I am the one who captains the sunbark and its crew. I am stronger and more raging than all the Enneads. I show splendor in accordance with my nature. I speak, and the Enneads are silent. I am he whose shape was exhaled, whom this august god created, who strews the sky with his beauty, the one whose name the gods do not know, the one whom the sun folk serve. Shu is the one whom Atum fashioned. His robe is the air of life. A cry for him went forth from the mouth of Atum. The air opened upon his ways. He makes the sky light after darkness. His pleasing color is the breath of Atum. Storm clouds in the sky are his efflux. Hailstorms and the dusk are his sweat. The length of the sky is his stride, and the width of the earth are his settlements. All living things upon the back of Geb. By Atum's command does Shu govern them. His life is in their nostrils. He guides breath into their throats. Yeah, so if you're familiar with the concept of the Metatron, not to be confused with Megatron, that is the voice of God in the Abrahamic tradition, but you could say that Shu is sort of like that, but more importantly, he is the breath of God. He's the breath of Atum and the breath of life itself. And so that's why he has such a very special position, because the force of life that is given by the Creator is embodied within Shu. So.
Shu also has a relationship to Bast.
Yes, and Bast is addressed. You open the movements of Shu, for he's your messenger. So there's a connection with that as well, and I suspect that has to do with Bast's position as the daughter of Atum, daughter of Ra, the creator, and so
yes.
And of course Tefnut, twin with Shu, also has a feline form. Can also be the Eye of Ra. So there's kind of a continuum there as well. Okay, so Mary Ra is asking, do the gods make mistakes? Oh yeah.
Well, Set.
Right. That's actually what I was going to say. Something very interesting that I read. It was an account in Winifred Blackman's book about the Fellahin of Upper Egypt, and she described an Egyptian man. Well, there were two Egyptian men. They had an argument or something, and in a fit of passion, one of them killed the other one, but then realized what he had done, and then lay down and wept next to the body of the man that he had killed in a fit of rage. And I read that and I thought, was that perhaps what happened with Set? So yeah. And the other thing too is, like, if you think about the story with Ra sending, because he takes counsel with the gods and with Noon, who is personified in that story, as to what to do when he realizes that humanity is plotting to rebel against him. And so they say, well, send Sekhmet, to punish, the rebels. Well, the problem is she has too much fun with it. And so then Ra is faced with a conundrum. So call it a mistake, you could, or just okay, I'm seeing that the consequences of this are playing far beyond what I had intended. And so he has to correct course, and that's when they make the beer to get Sekhmet drunk and save humanity. So things don't always go as they plan, and so that it's because in philosophy you get to the question of predestination, and is everything just going according to a script? And I think the Egyptians the ancient Egyptians certainly would have said, no, there is no script. There's how things, there's the proper balance, and there's the formula for how things should go, but there's always room for things to screw up or kind of go in a weird direction, and we have to restore the balance. So
and as always, tomorrow is another chance.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, everything about Kemeticism is multiple fold.
Yeah.
Everything is part of everything else, like the petals on a lotus.
Yeah. And it's funny, I think Mary Ra was saying, creation is an ongoing process. Yes, and here's the funny thing. This, on the surface, there's a tremendous amount of irony with what I'm about to relate, but if you dig down a little bit, I think it makes perfect sense. But there is a book by a rabbi. It's called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. And he wrote this book, I think in the 80s originally, because he had a son who was diagnosed with a condition that basically, I can't remember the name of it, but basically his body was aging faster than it should. So he died of things that would normally happen to, a 90-year-old person when he was in his 20s. And they knew that this was happening. And so that became a crisis of faith for this rabbi. And in the process, he wrote this book. And the conclusion that he came up with is that God, as he saw him, of course, this would be the God of Abraham, but God was not all powerful. He was all good, but he's not all powerful. And he even said, maybe the act of creation is ongoing. And so there's scaffolding and things at the fringes of it that where bad things happen. And that's why you have all this. So the conclusion he ultimately came up with is very similar to ours and what Mary Ra was just saying. The idea that, this is an ongoing process, and they're out there on the fringes, things still happen. Chaos still creeps in, and that's sort of the battleground between Ra and his Aeneid, and then the forces of chaos. And so that's why things happen sometimes, because sometimes a little bit of chaos creeps into the mix, and we can't eliminate it completely, but we can always work to maintain the balance. So that and I think it was really interesting that he came up with that, and he's written other books too. There's another one that I got a hold of. It's How Good Do We Have to Be? And he kind of looks back at the myth from the Garden of Eden, and his take on that was really interesting too. And he basically said, well, what if we were meant to face that temptation anyway, and if we hadn't, then we wouldn't be human. We would just be like the other animals. It's a really, really interesting take, and he explains more about that. And so again, it's kind of funny to hear me recommending a couple of books by a rabbi, but I think the conclusions that he comes up with, and they're not even ones that are agreed upon by other folks in mainstream Judaism, but the thinking that he does and the conclusions he comes up with are actually kind of in line with some of the things that we might say too. So it's worth reading. So yeah. But I went over at the egg. That's something interesting. I have to check that out. I'm always up for good reading lists. So, yes, and creation. Yeah, that's why Ra is referred to as the Lord to the limit. He is Lord to the limits of the created world, and beyond that is noon. And so yeah, it is almost like a bubble, or like they're learning things now, and astronomers are trying to understand dark matter and the nature of it. And the current thinking is that the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate, but there are some that are saying, well, maybe it's not, and it may, because the old theory was that there was the Big Bang, but then there would be a big crunch when everything would fall back in, which kind of makes sense if you're thinking about things perpetually creating and then falling back in, and then starting the process over again. But we're still figuring that out, and it's not that far apart, I think, from the idea of finite creation and then the nothingness beyond. So
and then the whole thing starts again. There's cycles within cycles.
Well, and you even have in chapter, I think it's chapter 175 of the Book of the Dead, where Ra is telling, Ra is telling someone, that the cities will crash upon cities, and the basically saying there would be an end to the creation, and what would be left would be him and Osiris. So you would have life and rebirth, at the very end. So, with that in mind, we have our I should have here our because we had 2 cookies last time, and I tucked them. Where are they? Oh yeah, over here. So just a reminder of what we had last week. Opportunities to mend relationships are coming soon, and believe in your dreams; they are your strength. And that was very much a theme from last week. So let's see what we have for this week. There we go. So this is our fortune for everyone. This Saturday, take a break and indulge in self-care. Considering it's Friday, I think that's good advice for the weekend. This Saturday, take a break and indulge in self-care.
Especially since everybody's relaxing from having to deal with the holiday.
Yeah, and
and I would like a cookie.
Alrighty. Yeah, I guess that's good advice for me too. Don't be trying to work on things for my Substack, and stuff like that. Yes, and that's something that I was going to say. I started on Substack this week. Now I'm not going to be posting Kemetic things there. That is going to be for my fiction writing and having to do with that. Although, because people had asked if I was going to do an ebook for the Mesopotamian book on Ishtar that I've done. I'm going to see if I can do a digital form of that through Patreon, if there's a way for me to do that, so that basically to try and keep it off of Amazon, where everybody can preview it, and all the brouhaha with that. And I might have a way to do it. But the Substack's going to be for all of my fiction, my sci-fi. And so if anyone's interested in joining that, I can pull up a link. This is something new that I'm starting, and I'll be serializing my books there. So, and that's why I got a notification from it in the middle of everything. So, yeah, but they're telling me don't spend all weekend working on that. Take some time to relax. So let's start with Yamanu, and then we'll go see where's the first one here. Okay, and the question: what do you think about mysticism? A lot of it comes from the late period in Egypt. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I think sarcastic. You have a great point too. But this things conversations with Judaism. There's an ancient Near Eastern religion that adapted. With without temple structure. And I definitely agree with that. And the rabbi here who knows I'm Kemetic would be the perfect person to have that sort of conversation with. But and as for mysticism, there was a scholarly article that was written a while back that was really, really long and difficult to read. And I do have it printed out, but I was like, some academics are notorious for taking 10 words to say something that could have been said in 5. But I think the idea was that there's some mysticism in the coffin text. But then there was another article that refuted that idea. So kind of an open question. Well, let's start with Yamanu and then go to Katie. So. Sports are a testament to the power of teamwork. Be a strong link in the chain.
I always try to be.
Yeah, well, hey, Team Shannon and Yamanu. But
I'm always here when I can.
Okay. So, yeah, and Spicy Phoenix was saying it's online. It's only a 10, 15-minute read. I guess, well, go ahead and link me up. I'd be happy to read that. Yeah, and, okay, so, yeah, Katie and then Blue Conlon. And Gabriel's asking, could I please have a prayer for my throat? It's feeling scratchy. And my bestie Margot has a sinus infection. We think she's been sneezing colors recently. Oh, goodness, and I certainly can sympathize. So prayers for healing and antibiotics. So let's start with Katie. To be patient is to trust in the timing of life's events. So, Katie, to be patient is to trust in the timing of life's events. Sometimes delays happen for a reason. But, so Blue Conlon. Tuesday brings clarity to your goals and aspirations. So, Blue Conlon, Tuesday brings clarity to your goals and aspirations. Let's see. Okay, and Spicy Phoenix, I don't ask from him much, but I'd like to hear what Ra has to say. All right, to the boss. Yeah, now I will say this, talking about Egypt's contribution to mysticism and things like that. There's one area that I have an interest in, and unfortunately, I don't think there would really be any way, to make a historical argument, and research some things and all that. It's just, just trying to imagine and kind of put yourself there. But the festivals that they have now in Egypt with, anytime there's like a Mulid, or something, there seems to always be, groups of Sufis that are chanting, and the videos for it are very surreal, because you have musicians performing, and you also have folks that are doing the chanting, and of course, they're on a PA system, and so you've got this really ethereal sort of echo going on that you wouldn't have had back in the day. But I can't help but wonder if in ancient festivals you had something similar, where there were songs or chants that people had, and a bunch of people would get together and might dance, and it would be sort of an ecstatic experience, especially describing things like the festival for Bast. And near the ruins of Bubastis, the actual town that's close to that, they do have a big Mulid that they celebrate. So it's maybe something of an echo of that. They're celebrating, the birth of the prophet or something like that, but there's ancient roots to the way that they celebrate. So that's my thought. But okay, we're getting back to, it was Spicy Phoenix who wanted to ask the big boss. Wow. Do not follow where the path may lead. So, Spicy, do not follow where the path may lead. I think you just got a warning. Whatever is unfolding, don't go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that was definitely a direct warning.
Yeah.
Kind of shocking one.
He does that sometimes.
Well, he does convey thunder whenever it is cast out. Yeah.
Well, what I would explain it like, again, because Darren jokingly refers to him as my boss, but he's all business, because he has to. He has a very, very important job, and so he's not going to beat around the bush if he thinks that you really need to know something. He's going to tell you, no, look, this is important. I'm telling you, this is for your own good. That's so. If he says don't do it, then take note. So I'm just checking to see who's next.
And considering his nature being pervasive everywhere, because he's holding up creation, holding up the firmament, basically.
No, that's true, but we're talking Raw. We're talking the big boss.
The big boss. Yeah. Okay. Well, him again. He shines everywhere.
Yeah. But anyway, so Ashley Spradley, and then sorry, at her check. But we're starting with Ashley Spradley. Oh, there we go. Tomorrow's laughter is a reminder of life's beauty. So, Ashley, tomorrow's laughter is a reminder of life's beauty. So, go out and have a good weekend. Let's see. And next is Soriater. Yeah, and it's not showing our usual usernames for whatever reason. Love conquers all obstacles. Love conquers all obstacles. So, Soriater, you were talking about going with your mom to see a movie, and love of Japanese things, and love conquers all obstacles. And then Cranberry, and then Zabalin. Oh, Cranberry, you got a voicemail. The first one. Mondays are the stepping stones to your future. Take the first step. Now the second one. Anticipate a surge of motivation and progress. Wow, Cranberry. Put together, this is a very strong message. Mondays are the stepping stones to your future. Take the first step. Anticipate a surge of motivation and progress. So December 1. Whoops. Okay, so Zabalin and then Gabriel asking for one from Sekhmet and Bastet and Aset from the gals. So we'll start with Zabalin. Let there be magic in your smile and firmness in your handshake. Let there be magic in your smile and firmness in your handshake. Zabalin, that's for you. Of course, magic and Hika, but let it start with your smile. So next for Gabriel, and we're asking Bast and Sekhmet and Aset if they would share some wisdom. Here we go. Dreamers are the architects of a brighter world. So Gabriel, dreamers are the architects of a brighter world. And continuing that theme from last week. So, alrighty. All right, so we got our Discord cookies, and then Margot Pick, and then Lucas asking for one from Ra. Okay, and so Blue Connell asking, would ancient Egyptians have used astrology in their Hikka? Just to kind of answer that real quick, probably somewhere along the way, it's just that we're still trying to kind of piece together their astronomy. It's not like, we know a lot more about the Babylonians because that informed the Greeks, and, our own zodiac it traces ultimately back to that.
The Indra zodiac we're still making sense of.
Yeah. So probably what they probably would have done is would have had to do with the deacon stars, because there were certain ones that had characters that, there are a couple of them that had malevolent character. And so Tutu, the deity, was he had power over a couple of them in particular. and so the magic that they did probably involved things like that. So that's kind of a new and developing field of study. And so yeah, they probably did. It's just we're piecing it together now. So hopefully that answers a little more. And I know that on the Discord
would have certain specialties.
Yeah. Well, I know that on the Discord there's like a study group, and you guys do some things. So that's I think a great place to kind of pool together resources, on something like that. But let's see. Yeah, we're gonna do the Discord cookies because let's see, Eleanor, Rabbit, Son, Astra, and V. So that's 5 of them. Then we're gonna pick up with Margot. And let's see, I see. Okay, so someone who's new here, Michaela Olson. Sorry, I'm new here. How does the fortunes work? Well, you can ask for one, and a lot of people use the icon because it's easier for me to see that when I step away from the screen, and I can kind of come back. And I see somebody gave us a super sticker, and thank you so much for that. So, yeah, I'll be. Looking for it. And I try to do it in order. And so, that means that I'm not going to be at the bottom of the chat until I get through everything. But, I'll be happy to put one for you too. And you know what, as far as talking to the Rabbi Jana, the one here, yeah, she stays pretty busy. I mean, she has her whole congregation, she works with, but, I've asked her a few questions, in the past, and if we had more time to sit down, I'd be happy to have a list for her. But one bit of advice that she did give is make sure that you keep this to 18 and up, as far as having people actually join, because she's had people that were teenagers and kind of were interested in coming to the synagogue and, embracing Judaism. And, if they're under 18, parents can get upset with that, and so, in order to avoid trouble with that, stick to 18 and up. But we're starting with Eleanor, then Rabbit, Son, and down the list here. So. Okay. So for Eleanor, to be wise is to seek knowledge and understanding in all things. To be wise is to seek knowledge and understanding in all things. So that's for Eleanor. I think next up is Rabbit. So for Rabbit, a great pleasure in life is doing what others say you can't. A great pleasure in life is doing what others say you can't. That's for Rabbit. Next is Son. Yep, I'm kind of way down here. There we are. So for Son, practice patience with yourself and others. Practice patience with yourself and others. Okay, so Astra and then B. So Astra. Astra, your friends accept you just as you are. Your friends accept you just as you are. And I get the sense that there's kind of a subtext to that one of if they don't accept you as you are, then they're not your friends. Your friends accept you just as you are. That's for Astra. And lastly, for B. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Was that Churchill or Roosevelt who said that originally?
Roosevelt.
Yes. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That is for B. All right, next up is Margot, and then Lucas asking for one from Ra. So, Margot. November will bring you prosperity and success. Hey, we're still in November. November will bring you prosperity and success. And so next is Lucas asking for one from Ra. Hang on, because part of it ended up in the cookie here. So, Lucas, a financial breakthrough awaits you this Wednesday. Now, I had to put the tail end of the cookie together to read it all, but yes, a financial breakthrough awaits you this Wednesday. And I guess if that means anything, putting pieces together could be an important part of that breakthrough. So, alrighty, and thank you, Zabalin. Thank you, Cranberry. Said for my kung fu grip. That's cool. Okay, all right, and message me on for the link to that. Cool. Yeah, well, the thing with with Egyptian astronomy / astrology is that the thing is there's a lot of it that we haven't made sense of it, and now there are some scholars who consider the Babylonians to have been better astronomers because a lot of what the Egyptians did was based on reckoning and line of sight, and we know that they had to change things because like from the Middle Kingdom to the New Kingdom, you had enough time for there to be procession and for them to have to adjust things, like we have to now. But again, in fairness to them, they did have their own body of literature on that subject. It's just that we're still piecing it together and we're still trying to understand things that made sense to them. And I think a lot of the symbolism that seems kind of strange at first when you read in the pyramid texts or in the Book of the Dead is actually referring to like regions of the sky and things in their cosmology that would have been in the heavens. like the winding waterway. That's the ecliptic. We know things like that. So there were probably more things like that they're referring to, and we haven't made the connection yet. I do know that the French Egyptologist Sylvie Coville has done a little bit of work on that and trying to map out what constellations that we recognize are in the Dendera zodiac, and stuff like that. So that might be a place to look, to start. So. So skipping down, let's see. So Michaela, I'm going to go ahead and hi, Tamer. Good to see you. Yeah, and I think that makes perfect sense what you're saying about, kind of seeing Ra as a grandfatherly figure. That makes perfect sense. But so Married Wepawet from the Jackals. So let's do Michaela and sort of a welcome to you, and we'll pull a fortune for you, and then we'll do Married Wepawet. So, Michaela, you will learn a new cooking technique that will impress your friends and family. You will learn a new cooking technique that will impress your friends and family. And this is certainly the season for that. So next is Married Wepawet asking the Jackals. A deeper appreciation of life's beauty is in your future. A deeper appreciation of life's beauty is in your future. Yeah, and I think Spicy, you were saying your hope that fortune doesn't have to do with an elective surgery that you were looking at. It certainly wouldn't hurt to do all your research, ahead of time. And it might be about that, but there could be other things too. So just follow your instincts, but don't do anything just because outside forces are trying to steer you that way. Okay, and Katie's headed out. Have a great weekend. Let's see, and next up, Sarcastic, one from us, and then Mary Raw. Absolutely not too late. So Sarcastic, and then Mary Raw. Sarcastic, you will be spending time in the mountains soon. He will be spending times in the mountains soon. And I know where you kind of, at least what state you live in. So that makes it kind of fun. So next for Mary Draw. Your greatest opportunities arise from adversity. Married Ra, your greatest opportunities arise from adversity. There we go. All right. Well, I guess we're going to put out a last call for wisdom, y'all. If anyone else has a request, go ahead and put that up there. And we're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up because it's getting a little bit late, but I'm certainly happy to have everyone here. Oh, and it's interesting. The Stellarium app will let you look at the night sky on your phone with Egyptian and Sumerian constellations. That is really cool. I'm going to have to look for that because we do know that if there was any group that would have had been a repository for information on, astronomy in ancient Egypt, it would have been the priesthood in Heliopolis. The chief of seers in Heliopolis, because their leopard stole had stars on it, and of course that's referring to Duat and the it does spell something, but they would have been the ones that would have probably been charting things like that, and so today we don't even know which stars were the deacons, with a few exceptions. Obviously Sirius is the first one, but beyond that we're not entirely sure. There were several of them that were in the constellation of Orion, just to give you an example. But that's something that I'd love to be able to figure out more about, because there are ways that astronomy and ancient history can come together and aliens are nowhere involved. So, but yeah, and that's true. But and Tamara is asking, can I have a cookie? Absolutely, yes. All right. Be open to the surprises that life presents. So, Tamir, be open to the surprises that life presents. All right, let's tuck that in there. Okay. And again, thank you everyone for tuning in, this day after Thanksgiving, and I'm happy to, be participating with everyone. And, if anyone has any other prayer requests or anything that they want us to read, we can do that and work on our making the offerings endure. Hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Capri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Unu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Enid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Unu, endures. As the name of Geb at the Earth's Ba endures. As the name of Nut in the Shrine of Shanit in Unu, endures. As the name of Osir, Kentiamentiu, endures. As the name of Aset in Nicheru endures. As the name of Sutekh in Nubet endures. As the name of Horus in Pe endures. As the name of Wajit in Dep endures. As the name of Jehuti in Chmenu endures. As the name of Ra in the Akhet endures likewise for eternity. You have come in peace, O Ra. You have come in peace, O Shu. You have come in peace, O Yonachuru. May you go forth in peace, O Ra. May you go forth in peace, O Shu, O Yonachuru, to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Manjet bark, and rest content in the Sektet bark. And may you smile upon us, your humble servants. Mm. Alrighty. Well, yeah, just take your time, Spicy, and weigh your options. And hello, Rule 9835. Hello, I'm a Roman polytheist and devotee of Set. How would I combine Kemeticism with Roman polytheism? Well, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to that one, but knowing a little bit about Roman cultus, there's a lot of parallels. There's some things that they do differently, but you can because I know you have your Lars and your Penates, your family, guardians, and spirits, and then the deities that protect the household. And since you're also a devotee of Set, you can incorporate him with that. I do have a video where I talk about the combination of Greek and Kemetic practice. And I know that Roman is, not identical, but has a lot, of continuum with it. And especially since you're working with Set, because he, likes foreign things, and probably is also okay with pork more so, which as there's no prohibitions against that to my knowledge in Roman practice. Sometimes you have it with Egyptian, especially if you're working with Osiris and Isis and Horus. People tend to avoid pork offerings, for example. The other difference is the Ides and the I think it's the first day of the month, and then the Ides is when you don't make offerings. We don't have that kind of a thing in Kemeticism. So that's one difference that I know of. Just recalling the person that we knew that was a Roman polytheist. And it's funny, there are some affinities with Mars and with Set, because iron and hematite, and I think there's some other things that Mars is has an affinity with that also match things that Set does. The color red, for example. So just to kind of give an answer based on what I know off the top of my head, and can tell you that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So, okay, it came to me during a meditation and gave me a date, and I'm yet to figure out what it means. Oh wow, that's interesting. Oh, and you have a image. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, and Mercury is associated with Set in Egyptian astronomy. August 11th, 1142. That's interesting because that's like the date before the lechinacea. Wow. Because August 12th, that was we know by Roman times that was a festival that was associated with Isis, but the day, I think like the day before in August, you have several days where Set and Horus are fighting, and then you have a day of peace, and the August 11th, that may have something to do with that, and then with 1142, that might I know that somebody with a Mentet Nephrit, I think it was, that had figured out that the last time that the calendar date and then the Sothic cycle, with Sirius coincided, was in the 1500s or 1700s, something like that. I'll have to go and look, because someone was kind enough to give me a last year's calendar, and so it explains all of that. It's a really, really thick book. But the 1142 part may have something to do, a correspondence with that. So just off the top of my head, those are the things that I can think of. So what you're telling me there, there's something there. And yeah, Mars and Set, seem to be able to work together rather well. So. Yeah, and you know what? It's funny, in Egyptian too, and see all these hieroglyphs. It was great. Yeah, then you might have been seeing one of the calendars, because actually another source that we have for Egyptian constellations and things like that is from the tomb of Senenmut. So, and there must be something to that, because we're all talking about that tonight. So that in itself is rather significant, I think. And of course, we were honoring Shu, who is holding aloft Newt in the heavens. So I guess it's all part of that. So it's amazing to see how it comes up just in the things that we're talking about. So. But so that's really cool. Well, we have to kind of wrap it up now, because we're at an hour and a half, and a lot of people I know are up kind of late. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for asking that, and I'm happy to help. And you're welcome to join us on the Discord too, and ask more questions about that. So let's see if we've got the so I can put an invitation for that up. And I gotta pull up that link, and then we'll come on. And in the meantime, thank you for joining us. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that link.
I think this is the first time in a while that Indiana didn't chime in.
Yeah, well, I think she's resting, because she had quite the exciting day playing in the mud. So,
Yeah,
and spreading it across the living room too. I'm probably going to be finding spots, for the rest of the night. But
making duck coffee.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to make some Darren coffee.
yeah, Darren wants some coffee too.
So do I.
Yeah, come see us next week.
Love to.
Thanks, John. And yeah, and she might be a little more talkative next time, because I might put her in the quack pack. Just because I want her to get a little more used to that. So if we need to go anywhere and put her in the quack pack, she'll be like, oh, okay, But awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And everyone have a good week. And oh, and I guess one thing I will say, because there was, seeing some threads and some discussions on Substack. Apparently, there is a thing going on right now where there are people boycotting a lot of major box retailers over the weekend. Like Amazon and Walmart and Home Depot
and Lowe's and
yeah. Well, so they specifically said Home Depot. That's what I like to call them. But yeah. And there was one person who made a very good point though, because people who have disabilities who are stuck at home need a lot of delivery services in order to get by because they can't go out and get things. So if you want to, be part of that buy nothing movement, then one thing that you can do is if you know people that are elderly or have a disability and can't get out, help them, run a shopping errand or take them for a meal or something, and do something local. And that's one way that you can participate in a resistance movement, a boycott movement, by helping someone that otherwise would be stuck having to get something drop shipped or whatever. So it was a really great point, and it was the kind of thing that I said, I need to pass that on. So that was my PSA for the week. So lots of love, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Friday.